Recently on the channel, I discussed a topic that's been stirring quite a bit of conversation: Thomas Lukaszuk's petition, which appears to be aimed at pushing ahead of the Alberta Prosperity Project, AP, in the debate over Alberta's future in Canada. For those unfamiliar, Lukaszuk is a former deputy premier who has launched a campaign under the banner of Alberta Forever. His goal is to pose the referendum question: should Alberta remain in Canada? Now, I find the entire situation somewhat ironic. Initially, Lukaszuk had no issues with the existing rules when he launched the petition, believing he could collect the necessary 600,000 signatures under the old framework before the implementation of Bill 54. But once the new legislation changed the rules and reduced the threshold to approximately 300,000 verified signatures, his stance suddenly shifted. He began complaining about the new requirements, expressing frustration over the changing conditions, almost like a child throwing a tantrum when the game doesn't go his way. One can't help but speculate, again, this is my personal opinion, that Lukaszuk may be leveraging political connections from his time in office to try and push his initiative forward. As a former high-ranking member of the provincial government, he likely has ties that give him some advantage, and now his referendum question is being reviewed by the courts. We're expecting updates on that front soon. I'll be keeping close contact with AP and will report any developments as they come in. But the broader issue here goes beyond the internal politicking between AP and Alberta Forever. What we're really looking at is a growing divide over Alberta's place in Confederation and the real question: will Alberta remain a part of Canada? Let's talk logistics. Alberta Forever, in partnership with Lukaszuk, needs to collect around 300,000 signatures by the end of October. That gives them less than 90 days, as of the time of the original recording. Doing the math, that's about 3,300 signatures every single day, all of which need to be verified by Elections Alberta. That's not an easy task, and it requires serious organization and a network of committed volunteers. This is where AP has a clear advantage. Their team has spent time organizing supporters, gathering pledges, and ensuring that registered voters are prepared to sign. If you haven't yet signed their petition, I encourage you to visit albertaprosperityproject.com to pledge your support. By contrast, Alberta Forever appears to have ramped up very quickly, securing media attention, branding with hats and t-shirts, and organizing events. But where's the accountability for all that merchandise revenue? That's one question that's yet to be answered. Now, regarding Lukaszuk's petition strategy, he seems to be focusing on public spaces like farmers' markets and sporting events. Recently, they were collecting signatures in a particularly left-leaning area of Edmonton, known for its strong NDP support. Interestingly, one of the petitioners was spotted wearing an Alberta Health Services (AHS) sweater, suggesting that government-affiliated individuals may be backing this petition. It's important to consider just how many people in Alberta are tied to government employment or organizations like AHS. According to statistics, there are about 37,000 provincial government employees and over 113,000 individuals working with AHS. This includes direct employees, contractors, physicians, and volunteers. That's a sizable portion of the population, especially considering that many of these individuals have family members and social circles who may be influenced to support the campaign against Alberta independence. To be clear, I'm not saying everyone working in government or healthcare is opposed to Alberta leaving Canada. In fact, there are several UCP representatives who are vocally supportive of independence and were instrumental in passing Bill 54. But the point stands: when you have over 150,000 people with ties to the provincial government or healthcare sector, that influence can extend far beyond their direct employment. If each of them convinces just one or two friends or family members to sign the petition, Lukaszuk's path to 300,000 signatures suddenly becomes a lot more plausible. Still, it's a daunting challenge. As mentioned earlier, if you're only getting hundreds of signatures per day, you're far off the mark. And yet, given the institutional support he seems to be receiving from the media, from connected organizations, and perhaps from within government circles, it's possible he might close the gap. So where does that leave us? On one side, we have AP, which has built a grassroots movement focused on a clear and direct question about Alberta's sovereignty. They've built infrastructure, engaged supporters, and are moving steadily toward the signature threshold. On the other, you've got Lukaszuk and Alberta Forever, racing against the clock with a flashy campaign, but unclear long-term planning. At the end of the day, it will come down to who can better mobilize Albertans. Will people choose to support a question about remaining in Canada, or will they rally behind the idea of self-determination and independence? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Lukaszuk and Alberta Forever will hit their target? Or is this more smoke?